so another bike packing specific tent, but this time from the fairly well-known outdoor brand Mountain Safety Research, or better known as MSR. So Miles and I have both been testing the new Hubba bike packing tent for the past few months, and in this video I'm going to share my thoughts on the one-person version. All right, let's do it. All right, so one of the first tents that I ever purchased back in the day was actually one of these, an MSR Hubba. It was an older two-person style tent that saw plenty of use from car camping to backpacking. And I still own it today, and I actually even used it this year camping in the backyard with my son. However, as, say, lighter and more packable tents have emerged over the years, it became a bit outdated, at least this particular version. That said, MSR has certainly kept up with these trends, such as adding ultralight options to their lineup, like the Freelight 1, and they are now recognizing the need for shorter tent poles specifically for bike packing, and well, they incorporated that into their flagship Hubba tent that, well, I'm sitting in right now. All right, so while MSR may have joined the trend of bike packing specific tents, Big Agnes was actually one of the first tent manufacturers to offer a bike packing version of its standard models in 2018, starting with 4 bike packing models in their ultralight series. However, some actually might argue the Sierra Design's flashlight tent, released in the early 1980s, was one of the first lightweight shelters tailored for cyclists. I guess the primary benefit of having a bike packing specific tent is, well, the shortened poles. And while that's not all of these tents offer, to me, it's definitely the main selling point. So before we dive any further into this video, I just want to take a quick moment to let you all know that this video is supported in part by Tailfin. Tailfin designs and engineers technical bike packing equipment for almost any kind of adventure. Innovation and quality are at the heart of what makes them tick, and their constant drive to create innovative gear means that you can just focus on enjoying the trail. They offer a range of options for hauling your gear, whether you're tackling a big event like the Tour Divide or escaping for an overnighter. So for more on Tailfin, be sure to click the card in the top right corner, or you can also follow the link in the description below. All right, so the MSR Hubba bike pack tent is available in 1- and 2-person freestanding options. I tested the 1-person version here, which has a minimum pack weight of 106 grams or 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. So this all includes the body, fly, poles, 8 stakes, guy lines, and the stake bag. The tent also consists of a handlebar mounting system that adds 214 grams or 7.5 ounces, bringing the total weight to 1,220 grams, approximately 2 pounds, 11 ounces. For a freestanding tent of this type, it's not only lightweight, but it also packs down impressively well. So Miles ended up testing the 2-person version, which comes in at 1,773 grams or 3 pounds, 14.5 ounces. So that all includes the full kit, so the tent, the bar bag, poles, 8 stakes, stuff sacks, and guy lines. All right, so inside the tent, the body is 85 inches or 2.16 meters long and 30 inches or 0.97 meters wide, while the 2-person version has 50 inches or 1.07 meters of width. The peak height is 38 inches for the 1-person and 40 inches for the 2-person shelter. So the space is tight but manageable, and at 5'9.5" or 176.5 centimeters, I never felt cramped, although it's not a space I'd really want to spend too much time in sitting up in. One benefit of the shape is it is a true rectangle floor, allowing me to sleep in either direction, which was beneficial with just the one door here. All right, so the 1-person version has a 9 square foot vestibule, while the 2-person version offers 17.5 square feet. Certainly enough space for essentials, helmet, shoes, and bike packing bags. And just sitting in here right now is actually probably be a pretty good spot to at least boil some water or cook, so I could shelter myself from the wind. So the tent is constructed of a silicone-coated 20D ripstop nylon rain fly that is seam taped a 20D bathtub style floor treated with DWR, and a canopy made from 10D polyester micro mesh and 20D ripstop nylon. So the single door opens by using two separate straight zippers instead of, say, one rounded zipper, which I actually really appreciate, as those rounded zippers often kind of add stress points on tents. The tent comes standard with features like back loops and toggles to kind of keep doors open, and Velcro to ensure the rain fly is completely shut. So talking about bike packing specific features, we've definitely seen plenty of bike packing tents and shorter pole kind of systems that, while not maybe branded specifically for bike packing, cater to both bike packers and backpackers. Short poles are a key feature here. They're ideal for packing, whether in a frame bag or on a rear rack, and especially helpful when mounting between handlebars, particularly, say, on drop bars where their shorter length kind of reduces clearance issues. So MSR did a pretty good job of developing their front handlebar pack specifically for this tent. So the tape seam roll top closure bag offers ample space inside for the tent, fly, and a few other items, say like a sleeping pad. And I would say it's overall better designed than the Big Agnes bike packing handlebar system. So it comes with adjustable and removable mounting spacers for proper clearance around, say, cable and housing. However, there's still room for improvement here, particularly in terms of the stability. So after testing the Camelback handlebar bag earlier this summer, I vowed that I would never use a handlebar system with a stretchy bungee head tube attachment. So I actually opted to pack the tent in other handlebar bags or seat packs during my test period, but Miles did use the provided bag on a few trips and noted some stability issues, of course, but he also saw the potential in this specific design. All right, so the tent's features were certainly appreciated here. So MSR actually included an interior clothesline that I used almost every night for drying damp clothes or just keeping items like my helmet and the brim dry during wet nights. There are also plenty of pockets, 2 pockets on the side and 2 large ones on top, perfect for storing lights and other gear. MSR also added a clothesline on top of the tent fly, and while I never ended up testing that, that is another option for drying out items. So setting up the tent is actually pretty straightforward. As a freestanding tent, you don't technically need to stake it down first, but I usually do once I find a nice good flat spot. After staking down the 4 corners, I position the pole ends through the grommets at the tent corners, which is easy thanks to the symmetrical tent pole design. So next I clip the tent body to the poles and attach the cross pole to the upper grommets. So on warm nights, I would leave it at that, especially if temperatures stayed above 40 degrees Fahrenheit and there was no rain in the forecast. However, I often use this tent in, say, rainy or cold nights. And paired with the rain fly, I found that the partial nylon walls here really help retain warmth much better than, say, a full mesh upper would, especially when paired with the rain fly. The rain fly setup is fairly straightforward. For the 1-person version, which has a single door, you start by aligning the fly with the tent door. The fly then attaches to the pole ends first at the upper grommets, then followed by the lower tent stake grommets, followed by staking out the door, and then you can tighten down the tent fly by the 4 webbing straps at the 4 corners. So one thing I noticed basically immediately after I set the tent up was how the fly was positioned on the non-vestibule side when set up. So the fly sits really close to the tent body, but too high to actually stake directly into the ground. Initially, I thought I'd set it up incorrectly, but it turns out, well, this is part of the design. I ended up using a guy line on the non-vestibule side to add tension and pull that side away from the body of the tent with a stake. While it looked better afterward, it still seemed a bit odd, especially given the symmetrical tent body. Generally speaking here, the fly actually can be staked down pretty low on the tent, except on that non-vestibule side. So if there were, say, side winds, maybe rain and water could actually reach the tent body, though I didn't experience this during my nights out in the tent, as I used that guy line on the side each time. But when it did rain, the tent actually performed well. So during a particular wet night in Minnesota this summer, it actually kept the rain out with the fly and tent body staying completely separated in the water, draining efficiently off the tent. MSR has this neat little gutter right here, which essentially allows the water to drain off. So if you do say want to open the tent fly when it is raining, it shouldn't actually bring any water inside. And I think for the most part, it actually worked. Now there was a bit more condensation during high humidity days or nights like that, so I did end up using the provided kickstand vent on the rainfly to improve airflow. I would keep it open during times when I was actually awake in the tent, but I would definitely close it at night when I fell asleep. So I was actually pleased that the tent didn't hold as much condensation as I expected, considering most of the body is solid fabric with minimal mesh. This may have been due to, well, the drier environments that I typically bike pack in out west here. However, Miles did mention that he noticed more condensation than he would have preferred. All right, so during one particular rainy and slightly windy night, I used the additional guy lines on the sides of the tent, but even without them, the tent remained pretty stable during high wind gusts. And actually right now I do not have them installed, and I think the tent is definitely holding its own with, I'd say, maybe 15 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour gusts. So overall, the ease of entry and exit, the well-placed pockets and clotheslines, and its performance in adverse conditions certainly gets my overall approval. The MSR Hubba 1 bike pack holds its own in the lightweight tent category with its compact bike-specific design, weighing in at a minimal weight of 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. It's slightly lighter than the Slingfin Portal 1 and the Nemo Osmo 1 bike pack, and also the Big Agnes Copper Spur 1, but it does come in slightly heavier than the semi-freestanding options from Big Agnes, say the Fly Creek 1, and the Mountain Hardwear Nimbus Ultra Light 1. At 85 inches or 216 centimeters long, it's a bit shorter than the Portal 1 at 88 inches or 223.5 centimeters long, but it does share similar 39-inch or 99 centimeter peak height. For comparison, the Big Agnes Copper Spur offers a similar length but provides a bit more headroom. And finally, at $500 or $499 USD, the Hubba Bike Pack 1 is certainly on par, but maybe a little bit more expensive than some similar options on the market today, such as that Slingfin Portal 1 that I actually tested throughout all of last year. And it's actually hard to kind of choose the Hubba over that, mainly due to the Portal 1's features, the overall structure, and the usable interior space. However, the Hubba offers a similar pole system to the Portal 1, providing better support in, say, high winds compared to designs like the Mountain Hardwear Nimbus or the Big Agnes Copper Spur. Overall, the MSR Hubba Bike Pack 1 is a solid option for us bike packers. Available in both 1 and 2-person versions, it's highly packable, actually more packable than the Slingfin Portal 1, which is especially handy when space is limited. The tent features reinforced seams and stress points, which is certainly common in high quality tents from MSR, a company that really has been doing this for a very long time. I also actually really appreciate the dark color option for more of a stealthy profile, and it certainly tends to warm up faster, which also helps evaporate moisture a little bit more efficiently. The tent kept me dry and warm in wet conditions and provided ample storage for my gear when hunkering down for the night. So while the overall cost is on par with other tents in its class, $500 USD is not cheap. And the fly design on the 1-person model and that handlebar bag could use some refinements. So what do you all think about the MSR Hubba 1? And if you want to learn a little bit more about the 2-person version, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description below. Miles has a full review on that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw in this video and want to see a little bit more like it, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And if you want to help support this YouTube channel, everything we're doing at Bikepacking.com, you can do so by joining the Bikepacking Collective. The Collective offers a lot of awesome perks, including industry discounts, monthly giveaways, and the twice-yearly Bikepacking Journal, as well as some new features that are coming down the pipeline very shortly. So to learn a little bit more about the Bikepacking Collective, you can click on the card in the top right corner, or also follow the link in the description below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, pedal further.